It seems pretty tired.
Hey, you're with Mark and Diane from Real Estate News and Views, and we're at the end of September. And I want to give some observations over the last week that I've seen. Unfortunately, our August numbers didn't look too bad, but our September doesn't, like, we don't have the exact numbers out, but I did some preliminaries. Not great.
Well, they're not going to be great. So let's just say that because there's too much going on right now, right? A lot of inventory.
Next point, sales are down, inventory is back up over 1,000.
Well, how much over 1,000? Why don't you log on there?
I'm at 1,020.
1,020. Okay, so
And we
we're
were at 976, I think.
inventory's increased, sales are down over last year. The real estate market's ultra competitive. We're only seeing listings sell in a sense if it's something that is a very niche, meaning maybe I saw one on Burkall sell for 1,385,000 in 6 days. So they probably got the offer in 2 days, it was listed one day, someone in, so they almost got 100% of asking price on it. But the house was 3,000, I think it was 2,700 square foot walkout basement, back on EP land. The lot was 35 or 39 by 201 with a nice in-ground pool with lots of upgrades. So when you see that type of property come up in an area like that, it sells fast, right?
Mark, I sent one to my mortgage broker this morning that sold on Golden Eagle.
Right.
Nice street, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
1,872 square feet,
Is it a bungalow?
two-story.
That's pretty small. Okay.
Well, 1872 is not terrible. Um, well, what is shocking, it sold for 785.
Yeah. It's under that 2,000 square feet. We're seeing some sell in that range. So I'm not surprised with that price point. And
Actually, I'm trying to see. I think it actually sold for less than that. I think it was listed at 785. Yeah, no, it was listed for 799. It was three plus one bed. Uh 1872 square feet on the first two. And it sold for 785. But can I tell you, dialed,
yeah,
dialed, beautiful,
there's
fully redone kitchen, fully redone everything.
yeah.
Like you did not get that for 785 anytime. I don't, you just didn't.
Well, you did years ago, but if we look back a couple years ago, no, but that's the reality of the market, right? So, everyone's motivation is different. But back to what we're talking about, lots of inventory, unemployment's up, it's still scary out there for a lot of people, bottom line. So, and I think there's buyers are looking, all of a sudden we'll see something, example, like a Commonwealth not come up, been listed for 5 or 6 months, you know, price reductions, blah blah blah, tried everything, and then all of a sudden the last price reduction, there's three offers, and they took it down to 1,065,000. They had three offers on, only sold for 1,040,000. That was a great deal for a 3,000 square foot two-story. It's a big footprint, pool in the backyard ravine. Not a bad price.
That's a beautiful price for the neighborhood and how big it is. That's a big house.
It's a big home. So, when we see stuff come up or reduced enough, there's buyers are looking. If anyone thinks buyers are done, I think they're done buying at these prices, but I think they're still actively looking all the time because it's showing up when we see. I was in that offer. I was one of the three, right? And I didn't think it was going to sell for. I thought it'd be sell. I thought if anything, maybe 5 or 10 grand over list, nothing more. But it's sold under list. So, that's the way it goes.
Well, and that leads me into another thing I was telling you about is there's different strategies sellers can use, right? Like we see some sellers
Okay, go for
going
it.
low and trying to withhold offers. Some of them right now are working. They're not like if it's a low price, some of them are working. They're getting over. The big thing that I'm seeing is people that are pricing at what the market value actually is, and then they're trying to withhold offers.
Because they don't know the market, and those ones are usually from out of town. I see them all the time. One on Queensway I showed on Sunday. Two-story, listed forever. The last price was 1,039,000. I think it was 3,000 square feet, 35. Anyway, it was crap finishes. Things weren't clean. They wrapped the cupboards. It's all bubbled there. It looks terrible. 8.99, and we're holding off offers, I think, till October 14th. Good luck on that one. That strategy doesn't work. When you've listed the property, let's try getting all the buyers back. They were never there for that because your price was stupid. It was.
Yes, yes. And the other thing that people have to realize when you try this strategy, that's why I wanted to talk to you a little bit about it because I've seen it lately. Um, we can look at the history of that. So we see that it was listed at 1.2 and now it
Oh,
went down.
everybody else too. Through
That's
house,
what I'm saying. Every agent can see the history. People on House Sigma can.
right. Does
So
nothing.
so you know it was at 8.99 and you obviously didn't get what you wanted. If and then it comes back on the market at a higher price.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
And how many times do you see one that gets dropped like that that you tell the client they want 1.3, we might as well not even go.
Well, yeah, well, all the time.
You do it all the time.
All the time. I said, you know what? They may get something, but they're not going to get their price that they're expecting. Like, I really believe it's hard to say what a seller can expect today. It
I
is.
I agree.
It's hard to say. When you think you price it right and you go, whoa, you better be reactive quick and not let that sit and sit and sit and sit. It has to happen with you don't get some in 10 days, reduce it because obviously the market's not there's not a buyer there for that price point. So reduce it. And so again, we talk about people's motivation and it's different all the time. But again, anyone listing their properties today, I don't think a lot of them are motivated to sell.
No, and you do see eventually the ones that are motivated because they keep going down and down and down and down.
Well, they do, but price right the first time, so you don't see it going down, down, and down and down, and then it's 90 days. We have a short window to sell now. We're going into October this week. Okay, we got October and say at the end of November. As soon as snow flies, things shift a little bit, even worse. So I think we're not going to get a fall market because do the inventory. We're not seeing the sales. We're not seeing September numbers coming positive. So there's a lot of properties, and that dark cloud that's sitting over us, all of us right now is where's unemployment levels going? People are scared with their jobs.
Well, this is another thing I wanted to talk about is the new builds and the contractors. Everybody's out of work right now. Like the new builders are the new builds. Like you have a client that bought one.
They did. They took 100 grand off, and when I was at their house on Friday, I asked before the conversation, before the meeting, did the builder drop? Oh no, they're stuck at 1 million. Well, they ended up dropping it down a little bit more, another 10 grand. But I asked them what was that build last year, or what was the phase before that? And it was like 1.1. Even builders are have to play this game. It's very competitive. He goes, oh, they're really kind of, sticking to their gun. You can stick to your guns all you want, but eventually, if you want to sell that house, you're gonna have to reduce it. And they're not
Yes.
exempt from the resale market. It's like a seller here. You want to sell that house, then it's gonna have to be reduced. Let's face it. So they're no.
Well, people have to realize when they're buying those kind of homes, which we saw the problem over in the Mapleview area, Phoenix and that area.
Mhm.
You bought one, I think, in there with someone. They didn't appraise when all of a sudden everybody was trying to close.
That happens. You gotta. That's the problem, right? When some of these people have bought, and it happens where the price value is just different than it was 2 years ago, and now the lenders wants to make sure they're protected. You got to cover the shortfall, and then God forbid you can't, and then oh God, then the builders, or even you delay it, you're talking thousands in fees. So, it's
It's a
risky. I
risk.
still think it's risky right now for someone to buy a new build because and again, you're in a contract and you're closing, in a year and a half, maybe. That's what's going to happen in a year and a half. I don't know. I don't know. I don't like what I see, and I ain't afraid to say it. I don't
No.
like what I see in this economy today, in the
Well,
uncertainty.
that's what I was gonna say. Like all of the tradesmen, I was talking to one guy who was thinking of selling, and he was normally 5, 6,000 a month, and he's down to like a couple 2,000 or 3,000. Like his workload is cut in half. And I don't understand it. I don't understand why the government isn't doing something as far as like think about this. Okay, so we don't have enough affordable housing, Mark. We don't have enough housing for our population, okay? But now we have interest rates so flippin' high and
They're
carrying
not high.
costs,
We don't want to say they're high. I really don't think they're high, high, high. They're not.
they're
Like
high. They're almost five.
you can get a 3-year rate for under four today.
Well, I couldn't because I just renewed. I
My
just
client
renewed
got
on
one.
Friday.
She got one at 3 year for 3.89% of Scotiabank. That's not bad. I didn't think that was bad at all in the
Well,
fixed.
it's still almost four.
Four, but it's the qualifying, the 2% where these people have can't get into housing.
Well,
So
the thing is the government is going housing, housing, housing and pushing all this shit, but we have new builds going to hell. Like builders don't even want to build. People can't um, get approved because of all of this, the stress test, the interest rate, and everything else. And now we're actually slowing the economy down. They like, why don't
but
they do something which get rid of the stress test, increase amortization, lower the interest rate, do something to get that industry going again? Because apparently we need houses, but we're not going to build them because we're losing money.
Wow, that's not happening anytime soon. So I only wish it would happen, but I just don't see that happening. I really don't. Is it needed? Yeah, it's needed. I think we gotta the rate things, you know what I mean? Yes, we gotta come down a little bit more quicker. Get rid of that stress test. That will help out with some things, but you know, those are, I think we should be more proactive than reactive right now. We're going through a reactive phase in this government of is it too late by not lowering? The unemployment, nothing's going on. Like, what are we worried about? All these jobs are closed. The tradesmen's 12% of the GDP accounts from the housing industry. It's a massive industry,
Well, that's what I'm trying to
massive,
say.
but it's not. No one's worried about it. All the people sitting at home aren't working are worried about it. How are they going to feed their kids? How are they going to pay their bills? Like, I don't know. I don't got the warm and fuzzies about the economy today.
No,
So, and it's going to show up in the housing numbers. And watch the unemployment rate. The I don't think the rates come the interest rates to a point, but they're going to be so quarter points aren't doing much.
it's not doing nothing.
Doing nothing. So, be a bit more aggressive. We're in a slumpy economy. We're going into a recession. We're already in one, as far as I'm concerned, and it's going to get worse. When you see small, no, I shouldn't say small, but when you see, I will say small. We sell a cup of coffee at Starbucks. Last week, they initiated $1 billion cut. We're closing stores. We're restructuring.
Yeah,
Stores not performing. We're closing them. They're not seeing the incremental sales when people come and maybe get a coffee and, yeah, give me a muffin or give me a sandwich. So when these big retailers that sell $5 drinks and $5 sandwiches are hurting, whoa, look at that. What sign is that showing?
I know. Well, because consumers don't have the money. Like that's what I mean. None of us, even me and you probably too, like we don't go crazy and spend money and like we think about, oh man, to go do that. Like I wanted to go to a Blue Jays game and take my grandkids. I'm not going.
Well, that's a $700 day probably to do that. If not
Yeah,
more, tickets are, it's expensive,
it's huge.
right?
It's
It's
huge money. And maybe 5 years ago, when business was crazy, I would have done that.
Mhm.
I'm
Yeah,
not doing it now.
tough. I don't know. I think, again, I do think people are looking, but they're watching. They're not jumping in. They're taking the time. They're waiting for some prices to get down to their comfort level. Then they're kind of going, but not going bananas. And
No.
I think all this shit about, holding off on offers, they're so done with that. They're just, that's just, I could have did in my listing today. Why? What's it going to, it's like, I'm going to get market value anyway.
Yeah,
So just price it as market value.
I know.
You
I
could,
know.
and I'm not holding off on nothing. Yeah, I'd like 24 hours just because the client's outside the province, but that's it. Like, we want a sale. We want to attract a buyer. We don't want to piss off a buyer right now because we're still seeing 18 to 20% of the market turning over. That's not a good number every
No,
month.
no, it's not. And people that want to play games, like That's another thing I was saying today. You know how a lot of agents put their listings up on Facebook and
Yeah.
they don't put a price?
Yeah, I know. Well,
Call me.
yeah,
Call me.
well, they're not getting calls, so it doesn't matter.
Well, Mark, you realize maybe 10, 15 years ago that would work, but we're living in a society right now of anybody can go on the internet and put in an address and get a price. There's House Sigma, there's everything. Playing those games right now, all these friggin' little games.
Yeah, well, it's frustrating for people. Just give them the information. They're not
Yeah,
going to,
well, it drives me crazy. So
right?
the other thing that I wanted to bring up that was shocking to me, I've been showing up, and I was talking to you about it. I've been showing up in Victoria Harbor and Coldwater area, and I'm not joking you, the prices up there like are almost higher than here.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. Like I don't want to comment because I don't know that market. I don't know it well enough to comment. If you know, I mean, if you have sold data to support all that, great. But if we're looking at it from list what's listed there and what's listed here, you can't go on that. What to my mind, that's what's listed price
Well,
point.
I've looked and there's a newer subdivision up there on Ralph Dalton and a three-bedroom bungalow, no finished basement, just over 1,200 square feet, so for 775.
Yeah, yeah.
That's high
Newer,
compared to here.
newer. Depending on if it's newer. I mean, we're seeing that here with a finished basement, too. But again, there's still a good population group that likes buying newer, right? They do. Not
Mhm.
everyone. I think anyone buying, you know, newer is you're gonna pay a bit of a premium for it. You are. But it's tough. I
I
mean,
know I showed older ones up there and 25 years old, like mine was on Rough It, and they're listed at 765 and it's three bedroom, basement's partially finished, and old finishes, 25 years old.
yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? Because years ago, when you went up to Victoria Harbor or you went up to Coldwater, Wabashine up in there, it was way cheaper than Barrie.
Yeah. And I'm sure it's still way cheaper though in some price points. Like not everything's 800K up there.
Well, I'm telling you, I'm looking in that price range. You go on
That
Realtor
price
and
range, like I don't know the market, so I'm not going to make any comments on that.
it's higher than you would think.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was shocked by what I was showing and what the prices were. Because I can get that in Barrie or even better in Barrie for that price.
Not everybody wants Barrie too, right? Like, some people like living on the outskirts of Simcoe County and, you know, some
Well, and
people,
I would understand it. It's kind of like an Innisfil up there. I don't know if you've been up there, but it's kind of like an Innisfil where there's mixed cottages
right.
and homes because it's near the water.
Yeah.
There's only a couple stores.
Yeah.
Most people go to Midland to shop, which is 15 to 20 minutes away.
Right.
To Barrie, it's like 40, 45 minutes or more. And like it was shocking to me. I'm telling you, it was flipping shocking at what the price was compared to what I'm showing here at the same price range.
Yeah. Well, a lot of different, not every market's being impacted by this slowdown, right? You go further north and North Bay, my hometown, which I don't know nothing about that market, other from hearing from friends and colleagues that work in the industry and saying, you know what, listings are tight. Things are selling quick. There's not a lot of inventory.
Well, I see this is why I wanted to bring this up.
That has a lot to do with it. Supply and demand thing. We have a lot of dead inventory sitting on our markets from, here down to GTA and Peel and Dufferin areas. We have tons. So, there's lots to choose from. And with that kind of inventories numbers, it's ultra competitive.
Yes. And when I was looking up there in their range, there's not a lot to even show.
There you go. So,
Even trying to look at comparables,
right.
they're like for sales prices.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Innisfil in the old age era of Innisfil, like in the Alcona part. People used to just stay there for 25, 30 years. And in Stroud, when
Yeah.
I lived in Stroud, like I lived there for 17 years and only one house on our street was sold while I lived there.
Yeah. Right. A lot of people
People
just
don't leave.
don't leave. So, Turnover has a lot to do with it. They're not leaving, not a lot of supply. So, and those are tricky. Like, what's the valuation? Well, the valuation is what a buyer is willing to pay. It's my mind.
Well,
So
that
it becomes really important in things.
and
And
that's what they were kind of asking me, and I was trying to even just go through, and in that area, there's not a huge amount of new builds except in that one little pocket. And
right,
then so and the last one did is sold in like January,
right.
which January was a different market, Mark.
Well, yeah, it was. And there's just not lots going on in January. A lot of buyers are looking and kind of, oh, thinking I better get in now. The spring market's coming. We see it year over year. And then there's,
January this year was an uptick.
yeah, but normally it's so a lot of times. I've seen it many, many times, but an uptick from low sales volume. I'm
Yes.
not seeing an uptick in up 50, 60, 70%. Then, whoa, we're not seeing those numbers. An uptick. It could be small. There's just a lot. No one's listing in the wintertime too much.
No.
Right. You're not seeing it. So no one wants to move in February and January. They're going to wait till spring for that move. So I don't know. I just don't, I don't know what, 2026 is going to be, but, I think we got some hard times ahead of us in a sense of this failing economy.
Well, that was another thing that, and I don't know if I believe it or not, but apparently, remember I was telling you my mortgage guy, they had a Dominion lending like once a month. They have like economists on there and specialists that talk.
Right.
And they predicted that inventory would go up in September because a lot of people in July and August that didn't sell suspended or canceled the listing and were waiting for the fall market to relist so we would see a spike in inventory.
Didn't take a genius to figure that out.
Well, and we did.
Like we could see a week over week, we see cancellations, suspensions all the time. And then we see terminated, relisted, terminated, relisted. There's so much inventory out there in all the ranges. The only range that's performing decently is a 5 to 6 and 6 to 7, I think, that had massive upticks compared to
Yeah.
last year. Everybody else was down with increased supply. So I bang my head against a wall when someone says, "Well, I think it's worth more than this. Mine's but better." And I get that sometimes. And I go, "No, it's not better. It's not better. They had a walkout basement. They had nice finishes. They had updated finishes. They had a big lot. They had a pool in your backyard. You don't have that.
I know.
So no, it's not better. So, you know, like it's just, and I
I
don't
know.
want
Well, I
to
think I think it's always when we get into markets like this, there's always a pushback from consumers because of course they want as much as they can get and they don't really want to accept that prices are going down. Do you know what I'm saying?
then don't
Like
let.
they don't listen either. Even when you're putting an offer sometimes where because everything was priced so high, when something's actually priced good and you tell them, "Hey, you could pay full price for this. This is a really good price." They still don't listen.
Well, we did that last week when a property came up in Forest in Innisfil. Extremely well done. Walkout basement, all brick bungalow, two up, two down, stunning complete remodel in the upper level. Stunning, stunning. A 10 out of 10 on the upper level. Done professionally, good workmanship. Basement, you know what? Basement's a 6 out of 10. It was good. It was functioning. It was, well maintained and painted. Just need some updates. And they priced it at 789. What do we do? Let's just give them 790 because it's the right price. And
Yeah.
let's not risk losing this house. As soon as we sign it, as soon as we give the offer, and then I'm going to make this up. Let's say he signed back at full list and we went at 10 grand below, and then we sign it. As soon as we sign it back over to him and he has control, then it opens up to everybody can come in. Hey, Mark, by the way, we got another offer. Do you want to? It just,
Well, and listen, and this happened to you before.
why?
So what people have to realize is that when you put in an offer and they sign it back to you, you are now in control. If you accept the offer, the house is yours. Once you sign it back to them, they can look at other offers now. So it's happened to you more than once, and it's sold for over eight on the street, right?
There was one that sold for 835, similar, same side, Greenlawn. So he priced it right. And you know what? We shortened it. We shortened the condition, home inspection 3 days. So we got the deal. We submitted the deal Friday. He wanted 48 hours. Of course, I don't want to give that. So I gave till noon the next day on Saturday. Okay, I'll get it. I'll present it. Presented it, accepted it. We're in the home inspection on Tuesday and the waiver done on Wednesday.
Hmm.
You got a happy seller, you got a happy buyer. And no, we didn't pay too much for it because comps around the corner sold for 835 3 weeks prior.
And
And
your client had seen that. So she's already gone through the three or four or five showings. She's gone through a couple offers. She
we got through.
realized
We
it
got
was a
through.
good price.
She knew the market. She took direction, Diane. She listened. And that's the difference, right? Like I'm not saying this for I don't say something just something to make a sale. I don't care if I make a sale.
I'm the same.
I want to make a sale that's you're happy and the seller and buyer, whatever I'm representing, are happy with their positions. That's all I care about. So,
Exactly.
and I give a lot of input, and I tell by looking at listings and putting offers in, and I'm going, this is going to be a hard negotiation because me, me and you, I'm representing buyers will say we know the right price, and that's the wrong price on the sheet right now. It's going to be tough. They don't get it, so I don't want to get your hopes up high. And yes, we have send them the comparable of what's sold. Trust me, they should already know.
They know.
They know if it's on the, they know. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough one. And
Mhm.
sometimes we say, let's not go because I know they're not going to probably take it by looking at the length of listing. No price changes, been listed for 4 months. Let's just watch it. Let's do a watch and see. Let it sink in a little bit longer that this is the new comparable sold on the street.
Mhm.
See if they're motivated.
Yeah.
It's not hard. It's not rocket science. This is not a rocket science business to figure out. But when you have a market that we're in right now where nothing is selling in a sense, or 20% is selling, it's becoming more competitive. And we've seen it in certain neighborhoods and zones in this community where they're getting it in some zones and they've established new pricing for the neighborhood in certain
Mhm.
categories. A lot of neighborhoods haven't had that yet. I only
No.
see. So what are we going to see in the future? Are we as soon as this weather goes crap? Hmm, I don't know. Right? It's going to slow down more. Like I'm dying to see September numbers. I already know they're not going to be great. So I know October's not going to be great. November's not going to be great. Your window's here. Do you want to sell? Is your home vacant? You better price it properly.
Mhm.
Have to price
Well,
it.
what I have preliminary, which I don't know if it's going to stick, is there was 156 sales last year, and we're at 149 right now as of today.
Flat. Just call it flat, right? Some, but yeah. Hey, if we come flat, we're doing good. Right? We're
Well,
still
and those are preliminary, so it might not even like they could be off, right, by the time we get the Treb stuff. But we're not up, that's for damn sure.
we're still 11% year to date down in transactions. And we're down a few points this year. We're probably down 3 or 4%. Some of the pricing in the
For
community.
sure.
So it's just, I just don't think we got our footings yet. I just don't think, everyone's figured this puzzle out right now, and it's going to be, it's going to be tougher to figure out. Okay, I think that's our time flashing. So, why don't
Yes.
oh, I forgot to say, definitely subscribe to we're this late. Subscribe for more information on this very cyclical real estate market, and we have a few links in the top part of our description. So check them out. Okay.
Perfect. See ya.